Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. If it wasn't enough for Disney Marvel's Taika Waititi to completely and totally devastate and destroy the wonderful character of Thor in two of the last movies that he did, and of course after the fact that we flat out admitted the fact that he only did it for a paycheck and had really no desire whatsoever to actually do Thor movies or properly represent him in any way, shape, or form, well, color us shock there. Then the next project he was involved in also did the exact same thing to such a classic and beloved movie, Time Bandits. And well, guess what? After just one season over there at Apple TV, this disastrous dumpster fire former Marvel producer and executive and director out there is finding himself out of a job once again. And boys and girls, it couldn't have happened to a better person out there, because for some reason Hollywood thought Taika Waititi, after doing just one successful movie for Marvel, which a lot of the fans were just like, okay, and then the second one that he came out turned into a disastrous dumpster fire. It's one of them situations where it should have come as no shock to anybody else that every other project he touched would be absolutely nothing more than an abomination. But you know what? That's how Hollywood is. They get onto this new trendy guy, they jump onto somebody. It's like what we've seen with a lot of the actors and actresses out there, whether it actually be worthy of them doing it or not. And it's one of them situations where this is the kind of problem that that Hollywood has in general. Instead of looking at every person individually based on their own merit and the kind of rewards they do and what they're actually interested in and what they're passionate about, instead they just grab whatever's hot and trendy. They offer them a big fat paycheck to do whatever they want. And guess what? You got bills to pay. I don't blame Taika Waititi for taking a paycheck. He's got bills. He's got kids. I get it. But at the end of the day, this is one of the problems with a lot of these studios out there. They pick these people because they're sort of the hot, trendy thing out there. And guess what? It ends up all completely and totally blowing up in their faces. And that's exactly what happened over here at Time Bandits as well. So we're going to check this article from bleedingfool.com. Check out the fact and relish in the fact that Taika Waititi is now out of a job once again. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Did you actually like Taika Waititi's version of Thor, the first movie and the second movie, or did you really prefer just our traditional classic kind of Thor that we know was a proper representation from the comics? Also, did you even bother watching Time Bandits, especially after seeing that trailer and how much of an abomination was going to be to the original series? Did you actually give it a chance? Do you have no idea what Time Bandits is? Either way, leave us a comment in the section down below. It all helps out with the algorithm after all. So Taika Waititi's Time Bandits canceled at Apple TV after only one season. Oh, poor Taika. That's the breaks, folks. That's the breaks, folks. And color us shock there. They did a series without any dwarves in it. And that was like that was the main staple for the Time Bandits back in the day. Like, this is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. You could have done something so great with this. But hey, guess what? It turned out just like Willow did. Time Bandits' latest adventure has come to an end. Apple TV Plus has opted not to renew the series adaptation of Terry Gilliam's cult classic film for a second season. Oh, color us shocked there. Another thing Taika Waititi touched got completely and totally destroyed. I mean, literally, Chris Hemsworth flat out said that he would never want to work with this director ever again, after how abysmally bad it was working with him on the last Thor movie. This is somebody who is not very good about dealing with people in any way, shape, or form. But because he was crazy hair and he looked right, and he's just, oh, this genius. Oh, yes. How'd that genius work out for you, Apple? Now, given Apple's got money to burn, it's not like they're particularly worried about hurting for cash anytime soon. But I mean, seriously, Apple has been trying this time and time again to end up on the streaming service by trying to produce their own stuff, and it just does not work out very well. I've heard there's some good seasons out there, but guess what? They don't have anything that's going to cause me to sign up for an Apple Plus TV subscription. And I'm a guy that's got an iPhone. The news comes almost a month after the 10-episode The First Season of the fantasy series starring Lisa Kudrow ended its run. Released in batches of 2 episodes weekly, the development is not entirely surprising. Apparently, there was not much of a nostalgia factor for a property that's 4 decades old. And despite most favorably critics' reviews, 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, oh, color us shocked there. The Simps for the Spirit of the Age kind of liked it. Trust me, a 78% coming out of Access Media Hollywood is not a good score, boys and girls. Not in any way, shape, or form. And no matter how much Rotten Tomatoes tries to screw with things, no matter how much Rotten Tomatoes tries to change things, at the end of the day, the audience scores still work and give us a very good assessment. And honestly, we don't even need to look or even bother trying to find Time Bandits numbers out there. You probably can't find them on a Nielsen chart. You probably can't find them on a Samba chart. And Apple is not going to release those numbers because internally they know it was a disastrous dumpster fire. What this probably cost them $100-200 million. This did not turn out very well for them at all. The development is not entirely unsurprising. The audience did not agree, and the new Time Bandits is created by Jermaine Clement, Ian Morris, and Taika Waititi did not attract a large enough audience and was not able to crack Nielsen's top 10's streaming rankings. Color us shocked there. As you can see, the audience gave it a 48% score right there. And why wouldn't they be? It literally had none of the same aspects of what the original did other than the premise and the fact that it was the same name. It didn't have any of the original dwarves. It didn't have a lot of the favorite characters. This was something that nobody wanted from the very beginning. Nobody was asking for it. Apple decided to gobble up the rights for it relatively easily, thought they could infuse some new life into it, but made the mistake of hiring Taika Waititi in the process. There's a reason why nobody at Marvel wants this guy to do anything anymore. The cancellation ends a long journey that started more than 6 years ago. Back in July 2018, when it was announced that Apple Inc. had gained the rights and closed a deal with anonymous content, Paramount Television Studios, well, there's another problem right there, Paramount, and MRC Television to develop a television series version of the Terry Gilliam original film to dispute on Apple TV, with Gilliam on board to serve only as an executive producer, thus in a non-writing production role, and Taika Waititi was set to co-write and direct the plot. So color us shocked there. It didn't pan out for them in any way, shape, or form. The original creator had basically no say whatsoever in how things worked, and this is one of the problems that we have seen time and time again. If you are a creator out there who still owns the rights to your creation, hold on to those very tightly. Do not abominate. Do not, no matter how much, you know what, and I get it. If you want to take the paycheck, fine. That just shows you how much of a sellout you always were, and we should have never trusted you with our love and our attention and our fandom. But at the end of the day, if you are somebody out there who respects your fans, who loves the source material that you have worked with over the years, do not let some company come in there and just offer you a paycheck and just to take it unless you don't have a problem with disappointing your fans. If you have a problem with that, then by all means, we'll just know what kind of selfish guy you are. But if you are currently in control of something and you respect your fans, take good care of it, and certainly do not let it be put in the hands of a former disgraced Marvel director such as Taika Waititi. Everything that man touches turns into a disastrous dumpster fire. He is a one-hit wonder and will continue to fail over and over again with the rest of Hollywood, especially when you give him stuff like that he does not either care about the source material nor considering the fact that we already know he will do anything for a paycheck, so don't expect a quality good effort from him in any way, shape, or form. Apple TV, you bet on the wrong horse. You bet on a former disgraced Marvel director out there, and guess what? Time Bandits has now been canceled after just one season. You get exactly what you deserved, and good job wasting hundreds of millions of dollars on something that just failed, because at the end of the day, Taika Waititi is a broken piece of crap guy out there and has no place anywhere near a good creative story, especially if it has actual source material to come from, boys and girls.